Hey quilters, this is Sarah from Snugglebug Stitching. I hope you're enjoying the Pinwheel Popper Quilt Along. This is week 5 of our quilt along. For this week, we're going to be making our last 2 blocks and putting our quilt tops together. So for this video, we're going to talk about web piecing. And if you're not familiar with web piecing, it is basically, I like to think of it as chain piecing on steroids. So when you chain piece something, you'll feed your pieces through in a long chain. So feed a piece through, don't cut the thread, feed the next piece through. And you'll keep on going until you've done as many as you want to do. And depending on your quilt design, you may be able to do that with entire quilt blocks or even an entire quilt top. And pinwheel poppers is a good one for web piecing, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get your layout set. So throw your blocks up on your design wall or in your floor or wherever you got the space, and move them around until you get them placed the way you want them to. And then I like to go ahead and take a picture of it on my phone. I am going to show you a way of stacking these that's going to keep these in order for you, but I still like to have a picture on my phone just so I have it to look back at if I need to. So when you're stacking your blocks, you'll start with the first column and go from the top down. So you'll stack block 1 onto block 2. Then you'll stack block 1 and 2 onto block 3. And then you'll stack block 1, 2, and 3 onto block 4. Then you're just going to go through and repeat that with all of your columns. So you do the same thing with column 2, column 3, and column 4. So once you have all your columns stacked, you're going to take that column 2 stack and stack it on top of the column 3 stack. And then you'll take that column 2/column 3 stack that you just made and stack that on top of column 4. And this is going to get these all stacked and in the right order that you need them to be able to web piece your quilt. So now that you have your blocks all stacked in the right order for you to be able to web piece your quilt, I, at this point, like to just grab those blocks and I'll keep that column 1 stack on the left and that stack that has all the other columns on the right and just bring them close to my sewing station so that I don't have to be getting up, going back and forth between wherever I laid the quilt top out and wherever I'm sewing, because I know for some people those places may not be in the same room. So now that we have our quilt top layout set and all of our blocks stacked in the right order and ready to go for web piecing, the last thing to do is just sew them together. So what we're going to do is we are going to pretend that these are just pieces like we would do if we were chain piecing. So a block is a piece, and you'll do exactly what you see me doing with this 9-patch block. As you're chain piecing, you will assemble your rows, and then once all of your rows are assembled, you'll just leave them all connected and sew your rows together. But something you will do different than you see me doing in this video is these were small blocks, so I did not pin when I was sewing my rows together. But with these big blocks, like we're using for pinwheel poppers, I would usually pin. You can pin or not pin, whatever you want to do. But for pinwheel poppers, I would pin those blocks together, since the bigger the blocks, the harder it is to get them to match up nicely without pinning. Well, at least for me anyway. So the web piecing can save you a lot of time if it is something that you want to do. Some people don't like dealing with having all that hanging down in their lap and worrying with the threads that are still connected, getting caught on stuff. So if you don't want a web piece, just do whatever you would normally do. Your quilt, your rules.